and I didn't even know Jake Paul was fighting. So he's saying all this shit. I was in Italy. I didn't even know the guy was fighting. When Jake Paul lost to Fury, I haven't really paid attention to Jake Paul.
I have love for Jake too. I don't know.
There's a lot of things that Dana and I agree on. There have been personal attacks, which he started. I will point that out. Calling my fights fake, hiring coaches for Ben Askren, bringing in the steroid accusation.
Jake Paul finds himself embroiled in yet another controversy after UFC President Dana White publicly dismantled his career strategies with unflinching precision. In a candid critique that left no stone unturned, Dana exposed the cracks in Jake's 4-year-long blueprint, which critics claim has more to do with marketing than actual fighting. The timing couldn't be worse for Jake, as allegations of fixing his supposed showdown with Mike Tyson have added fuel to the fire, with fans and pundits alike growing weary of his calculated theatrics.
Think, with all the shit that I got going on and what we're doing, you think I'm thinking about Jake Paul?
No,
I'm not.
So what would one?
And I don't mean that in a way to shit on the.
He's making a lot of money.
It's just the truth.
The drama began when a leaked fight script surfaced, outlining every move in Jake's planned bout with the legendary Tyson. From Tyson's aggressive opening to Jake's cautious mid-round tactics, an eventual fifth-round comeback, the script portrayed a staged spectacle rather than a genuine contest. Fans who had paid for an authentic clash of eras instead found themselves watching what felt like a poorly rehearsed play. The backlash was swift and brutal, with many calling it a blatant insult to the sport of boxing. Dana White, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, labeled the fight a disgrace. He didn't just stop there, he went on to dissect Jake's entire approach to boxing, branding it a carefully crafted facade.
The UFC is the best in the world, fight the best. That's what we do, you know? What Jake Paul and those guys do is completely different. And again, the kid's doing his thing. I'm not shitting on him. And listen, if smaller, older guys want to fight him, then they're doing their.
Dana's main criticism of Jake centers around his predictable fight-picking strategy. Jake's opponents, Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, and now Mike Tyson, are all either older, smaller, or past their prime. While these matchups generate headlines, they don't offer real competition. Dana and many fans believe this strategy is designed to pad Jake's record without exposing him to legitimate threats. The cherry on top, Jake's audacious call-outs of elite fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Alex Pereira.
And he calls people out for attention.
Yeah.
When you call Alex is a superstar right now.
These aren't genuine challenges but calculated moves to keep Jake trending. Everyone, including Dana, knows these fights will never happen, making the call-outs little more than clout-chasing stunts. Fans have started calling out Jake for what they see as a fake career built on scripted fights and hollow theatrics. Even those who initially tuned in out of curiosity or amusement are growing tired of the repetitive gimmicks. Dana didn't mince words, referring to Jake's career as a circus act that prioritizes viral moments over genuine fighting skills.
Thought that Netflix was crazy not to get into live sports sooner than they did. Those guys truly have a global footprint. I think they're late to the game, but it was a big success.
The performance of the broadcast, did that give you pause to do business with Netflix at all?
I didn't think the event was a great event, but they needed to do that. They knew Mike Tyson was going to bring in big.
While the combat sports world thrives on big personalities, Dana's frustration lies in how Jake's antics undermine the authenticity of a sport that values skill, grit, and real competition.
Talk now, let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want. 2 brothers, 1 cage.
The leaked Tyson fight script was particularly damaging to Jake's already fragile reputation. What should have been a marquee event became a laughingstock, with fans deriding it as a live-action farce. Tyson, now 57 years old and years removed from his prime, still managed to highlight Jake's lack of skill during the fight. This wasn't just a blow to Jake's ego, it was a damning indictment of his career strategy.
I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Who gives a shit what I think? It's not my fight. I love Mike Tyson, you know, personally as a friend, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time.
Dana White doubled down on his critique, calling the fight a stain on boxing's reputation. For Dana, the incident epitomized the erosion of authenticity in combat sports, a trend he believes Jake Paul exemplifies.
Pereira would kill Jake Paul.
Pereira.
Who?
Alex.
Pereira.
Oh my God, exactly. It'd be murder.
You think
That's
that
what I
fight would
told Jake
happen?
yesterday. Murder.
what else I was saying about Dana too is like the boxing.
But how's that fight possibly going to happen? That's just not
wonder
going to happen.
The commission would even let that fight.
Jake's antics are not just a problem for boxing, but a symptom of a larger issue in combat sports. When fights are reduced to pre-scripted drama designed to go viral, the sacrifices and hard work of real fighters are overshadowed. Jake's strategy of prioritizing entertainment over competition has drawn sharp contrast with the UFC's ethos, which Dana White proudly champions. In the UFC, the best fight the best. Legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Amanda Nunes cement their legacies through genuine competition. In contrast, Jake's approach sticks out like a sore thumb, relying on gimmicks to stay relevant.
What did you expect? Seriously, when you stayed home and you turned on Netflix that night, we were like, holy I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all.
Dana openly criticizes Jake's matchmaking as a ploy to avoid real risks. His choice of opponents aging legends or undersized fighters reflects a pattern of cherry-picking that prioritizes self-promotion over legitimate challenges. The reality TV-like nature of Jake's career only reinforces this perception. The Tyson fight, with its leaked script and staged drama, felt more like a scripted drama than a genuine competition. For Dana, it was the ultimate insult to a sport built on raw competition and authenticity.
Training camp and come in and, I don't like to see guys fighting it. Be a 31-year age difference during that fight. Just, you guys know what I think of that.
The fallout from the Tyson fight has cast a long shadow over Jake's career, and Dana hasn't held back in pointing out the flaws. In his view, Jake Paul is not a fighter but a marketer, a savvy showman who knows how to sell a fight but struggles to deliver in the ring. While this strategy has worked to some extent, it's not sustainable in a sport that demands respect, skill, and authenticity. Fans are growing increasingly disillusioned, and the backlash to Jake's recent controversies underscores the precariousness of his position in the combat sports world.
Where his head's at in life in terms of what he wants to do.
Okay, but you didn't answer the question. Do you have any interest in it?
I don't know. I mean, Andrew has messaged me over the past few days, and
Dana White's criticisms extend beyond Jake's choice of opponents and into the very foundation of his career. Jake's callouts of fighters like Alex Pereira highlight the absurdity of his approach. Pereira, a world-class striker with a fearsome reputation, represents everything Jake has avoided in his matchmaking.
People that are, there's a lot of, in Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all.
Calling out Pereira is almost laughable, akin to an amateur chess player challenging Magnus Carlsen. Dana didn't hesitate to point out the disparity, calling such a matchup murder for Jake. While Jake thrives on these headline-grabbing callouts, they only further expose the hollowness of his challenges.
I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful.
Alex Pereira, fresh off a victory at UFC 291, is at the peak of his career. His accomplishments in both kickboxing and MMA are a stark contrast to Jake's carefully curated resume. Dana made it clear that Jake has no business even mentioning Pereira's name, let alone stepping into the ring with him.
Older guy who's smaller than you.
Great. What could he?
It's the same blueprint.
So what could he do where he could get in the same room with you?
It's the same blueprint.
Well, I don't think
fight.
the UFC makes that much money if someone fights Jake Paul.
I'm asking Dana White.
Yeah,
what
it's
Jake,
just
so he's not fighting Alex.
The absurdity of the suggestion only underscores how far Jake has strayed from legitimate competition. For Dana, the comparison between Jake and Pereira is a reminder of the gap between real fighters and social media-driven showmen.
The UFC is the best in the world, fight the best. That's what we do, What Jake Paul and those guys do is completely different. And again, the kid's doing his thing. I'm not shitting on him. And listen, if smaller, older guys want to fight him, then they're doing their.
Adding insult to injury, Dana pointed out Jake's declining pay-per-view numbers. Jake's recent fight with Nate Diaz reportedly underperformed, further highlighting the waning interest in his career. Meanwhile, fighters like Pereira continue to draw massive attention and respect within the combat sports community. Dana sees this as evidence that Jake's relevance is fading, and his gimmick-driven approach is losing its appeal. As the fallout from the Tyson fight continues, it's clear that Jake Paul's career is at a crossroads. Whether he can adapt and prove himself as a legitimate fighter remains to be seen, but for now, the criticism from fans and industry leaders like Dana White is louder than ever.
Boxing. He's talking about boxing.
head to another planet, it would be.
We talked about this. Jake calls people out that he knows that aren't going to fight him, bro.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and he calls people out for attention.
Yeah.
When you call Alex is a superstar right now.